From bizarre ways of cleaning wounds to partying in the cemetery, here are 10 things you wouldn't believe about the Middle Ages. Number 10. Pointy shoes were all the rage. In medieval times, pointy shoes were all the rage. Krakow's, named after the Polish capital of Krakow, were fashionable but impractical, as they were very pointy and elongated. They made walking and kneeling in prayer difficult. The elite wore them, and the richer you were, the more extreme and lengthy the tip. Finally, common sense prevailed, and people stopped wearing them. Number 9. Urine as an antiseptic. During medieval times, using urine as an antiseptic was a common practice among doctors and commoners. Doctors could tell what was wrong with people by looking at their urine, and it became a solid tool for doctors. There is a lot of documentation advising people to treat ulcers, bites, and stings with urine, even to fight the plague. While the Aztecs are also said to have used urine to disinfect wounds, it's not recommended today, as there are much better alternatives. Number 8. Football was once banned in England. Medieval football, known as mob football, was played everywhere in England without any strict regulations. The ball was an inflated pig's bladder, and everything was pretty much allowed except murder. Due to being violent and gruesome, it was eventually banned in England. Number 7. People drank beer or wine instead of water. During the Middle Ages, water was often unsafe to drink due to pollution from waste and sewage. People instead drank beer or wine, as the fermentation process killed bacteria and made the drink safer. Even children drank beer, as it was considered safer than water. Number 6. Bloodletting was a common practice. Doctors during the Middle Ages believed in balancing the 4 humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Bloodletting was a common practice used to release an overabundance of blood. It was believed that bloodletting could cure a variety of ailments, ranging from the plague to acne. Number 5. Medical treatments could include live animals. In the Middle Ages, doctors used a variety of methods to treat illnesses, including using live animals. For example, they prescribed using a live hen to pinpoint the origin of an illness by watching where the hen went. Another bizarre practice was using a live mouse to cure toothaches by placing it against the aching tooth. Number 4. The Black Death. One of the most infamous events in the Middle Ages was the Black Death, a bubonic plague pandemic that swept across Europe and Asia, killed tens of millions of people. It had a massive impact on society and caused many to question their faith. It also ultimately led to significant social and economic changes. Number 3. The Wheel of Fortune. The Middle Ages was a time when people believed in the Wheel of Fortune, the idea that a person's fate could change at any moment. Wealthy people could fall into poverty, and poor people could become rich. This concept was often depicted in art, literature, and even in the architecture of castles. Number 2. The church could sell indulgences. During the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church could sell indulgences, a pardon for sins. The church sold these to raise money for various causes, including the construction of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. This practice was controversial and ultimately contributed to the Reformation. Number 1. Partying in the cemetery. During the Middle Ages, people would often picnic and party in cemeteries, believing it to be a joyful event. They held feasts and festivals among the graves, creating an atmosphere of celebration. This tradition eventually faded as the church discouraged such practices and funerals became more formal. Thanks for watching.